live dashboard navigation and analytics for tracking any type of vessel in the world. 1. MarineTraffic. MarineTraffic is widely regarded as the global benchmark for vessel tracking. What we are looking at here is far more than a simple map. It is a real-time representation of the maritime network that supports global trade. Every icon on the screen corresponds to a real vessel transmitting data through the Automatic Identification System, better known as AIS. AIS was developed as a safety technology. Its primary purpose is to allow ships to identify one another, improve situational awareness, and reduce the risk of collisions. At regular intervals, vessels automatically broadcast a standardized set of information. This includes the ship's name, unique identifiers, position, speed, heading, destination, and estimated time of arrival. These signals are collected by coastal receiving stations and satellites and then aggregated into global databases. MarineTraffic transforms this technical data into a visual interface that anyone can understand. What makes this especially fascinating is the scale involved. More than 90% of world trade by volume moves by sea. That means that most of the products we use every day have traveled on ships like the ones shown here. Container ships transport electronics, clothing, and consumer goods. Tankers move crude oil and refined fuels. Bulk carriers transport commodities such as iron ore, coal, and grain. LNG carriers move liquefied natural gas. And many specialized vessels support offshore energy, construction, and port operations. By selecting a ship, we can access an extraordinary amount of information. This often includes dimensions, tonnage, flag state, ownership, management, photographs, and historical routes. One of the most important identifiers is the IMO number. Unlike a ship's name, which can change, the IMO number remains constant throughout the vessel's operational life. It functions as a permanent maritime fingerprint. This is particularly useful in OSINT. Even if a vessel changes its name, owner, or registration, the IMO number allows analysts to identify it with confidence. MarineTraffic also reveals the main arteries of world trade. When viewed from a global perspective, dense shipping corridors become immediately visible. Major east-west routes connect Asia with Europe and North America. Other routes carry energy from the Middle East to industrial economies around the world. Several maritime chokepoints are especially important. These include the Strait of Malacca, the Suez Canal, the Panama Canal, the Strait of Hormuz, and Bab el-Mandeb. A disruption in any of these areas can affect freight rates, delivery times, and commodity prices worldwide. Marine traffic also makes port congestion easy to observe. Large clusters of vessels waiting offshore may indicate operational bottlenecks, weather delays, labor issues, or surges in demand. For analysts, these patterns can provide early clues about broader economic developments. Another useful feature is the ability to filter by vessel category. We can isolate container ships, tankers, bulk carriers, passenger vessels, fishing vessels, and yachts. Each category tells a different story. Container ships reflect consumer trade. Tankers reveal energy flows. Bulk carriers indicate industrial demand. And LNG carriers provide insight into global gas markets. Marine traffic turns abstract concepts such as logistics, trade, and globalization into something visible and intuitive. Instead of simply hearing about the world economy, we can watch it unfold in near real time. 2. VesselFinder. VesselFinder is one of the most respected alternatives to marine traffic. It provides similar ASH-based information through a clean and efficient interface. Many users appreciate its speed, clarity, and highly practical layout. Using multiple tracking platforms is an important analytical habit. No single source is perfect. Cross-checking information across independent services increases confidence in the data and helps identify discrepancies. This principle is fundamental in open-source intelligence. VesselFinder offers extensive technical details for each vessel. These include length, beam, draft, gross tonnage, and deadweight tonnage. Each metric provides valuable insight. Length and beam describe the ship's dimensions. Gross tonnage measures internal volume. Deadweight tonnage, commonly abbreviated as DWT, represents the total weight the vessel can safely carry. This includes cargo, fuel, water, provisions, and crew. DWT is one of the best indicators of a vessel's commercial significance. A very large crude carrier may transport hundreds of thousands of tons of oil. An ultra-large container vessel can carry more than 20,000 TEU. TEU stands for 20-foot equivalent unit and is the standard measure used in the container shipping industry. Another particularly useful metric is draft. Draft measures how deeply the ship sits in the water. A deeper draft usually suggests a heavier cargo load. By comparing draft values over time, analysts can sometimes estimate whether a vessel is fully loaded, partially loaded, or sailing in ballast. Ballast means the vessel is carrying little or no cargo and uses seawater to maintain stability. VesselFinder also provides historical port calls. This allows us to reconstruct recurring trade routes. Repeated voyages between the same ports often reveal long-term commercial relationships. This is especially useful when analyzing energy and commodity flows. Tracking LNG carriers can reveal changes in natural gas demand. Monitoring tanker traffic can illustrate shifts in crude oil exports. Following bulk carriers can indicate industrial activity. And observing container ships can provide early signals about global consumer demand. The vessel type itself is highly informative. Container ships transport manufactured goods. Bulk carriers move commodities such as coal, grain, and iron ore. Tankers carry liquid cargoes. Ro-ro vessels transport wheeled cargo such as cars and trucks. Chemical tankers handle specialized products. And LNG carriers are engineered to transport gas at extremely low temperatures. The more you understand these vessel classes, the more meaningful ship tracking becomes. Another fascinating aspect of shipping is its international structure. A vessel may be owned in one country, managed in another, insured elsewhere, and registered under a completely different flag. Flags of convenience such as Panama, Liberia, and the Marshall Islands are extremely common. This reflects the complex legal and financial architecture of maritime commerce. VesselFinder also highlights the importance of critical thinking. The destination field is typically entered manually by the crew. It may contain abbreviations, spelling variations, vague descriptions, or outdated information. That is why route, speed, draft, and historical behavior are often more reliable indicators than destination text alone. Another useful element is ETA, the estimated time of arrival. While not always exact, it provides a practical indication of operational intent. If a vessel adjusts speed significantly, it may be responding to berth availability, weather conditions, or fuel optimization. Fuel efficiency is a major priority in modern shipping. Operators frequently use slow steaming, intentionally reducing speed to lower fuel consumption and emissions. This operational strategy can save substantial costs over long voyages. When multiple data points align, they can provide a remarkably accurate picture of a vessel's activities. That is what makes VesselFinder such a powerful tool for enthusiasts, researchers, and analysts alike. 3. Marine vessel traffic. Marine vessel traffic offers another professional interface for accessing ASH data. Its design is simple, efficient, and easy to navigate. Sometimes the most useful tool is not the one with the greatest number of features, but the one that presents information clearly and quickly. This platform is particularly effective for rapid checks and comparisons. One of the most important principles in maritime analysis is verification. ASH data is extremely valuable, but it is not perfect. Coverage depends on receiving stations and satellite updates. Some regions update more frequently than others. Temporary delays are normal, and certain fields, such as destination, are entered manually. As a result, they may contain inconsistencies or outdated information. This is why analysts compare multiple sources. When several platforms display the same information, confidence increases significantly. When they differ, further investigation may be warranted. Marine vessel traffic is therefore useful not only for tracking ships, but also for validating information. This reflects a broader analytical principle. Reliable conclusions are built through cross-referencing, contextual understanding, and critical thinking. Sometimes the most interesting insights emerge from discrepancies. If a vessel's reported destination does not match its actual course, that inconsistency may indicate a schedule change or an operational detail worth exploring. ASH was originally designed for safety and navigation, not for public intelligence. The fact that this operational data can also be used to analyze economics, trade, and geopolitics is a powerful example of the value of open information. 4. CruiseMapper. CruiseMapper is a specialized platform focused on cruise ships and passenger itineraries. Unlike general ASH trackers, it is designed specifically for the cruise industry. This allows it to provide highly detailed information including itineraries, schedules, and deck plans. Cruise ships are among the most sophisticated vessels ever built. They combine maritime engineering, hospitality, entertainment, and logistics in a single floating structure. The largest ships function as self-contained cities. They can accommodate several thousand passengers and crew members while continuously supplying electricity, fresh water, food, waste processing, and safety systems. Cruise itineraries are planned with extraordinary precision. Routes are optimized according to seasonality, weather conditions, port infrastructure, and tourism demand. The Caribbean, Mediterranean, Alaska, and Northern Europe are among the most important cruise markets. CruiseMapper makes it possible to observe how vessels reposition throughout the year. A ship may spend summer in Europe and winter in the Caribbean. This seasonal movement reflects the global nature of the cruise business. Cruise ships are also major economic assets. Construction costs can exceed $1 billion. Each voyage supports a broad ecosystem of ports, suppliers, excursion operators, and local businesses. Behind the scenes, cruise operations require extremely precise coordination. A delay in one port can affect the entire itinerary. This demands close cooperation between ship operators, port authorities, pilots, and service providers. From an engineering perspective, These vessels are extraordinary achievements. They integrate advanced propulsion systems, stabilizers, environmental controls, navigation technologies, and complex onboard logistics. CruiseMapper therefore provides more than travel information. It offers insight into one of the most technically demanding and economically significant segments of the maritime world. 5. ShipXplorer. ShipXplorer presents vessel data through a modern and visually clean interface. Its design is particularly effective for studying global traffic patterns. When we zoom out and observe the world as a whole, the structure of international trade becomes remarkably clear. Major corridors connect manufacturing centers, commodity exporters, and consumer markets. East Asia is linked to Europe through the Suez Canal. Trans-Pacific routes connect Asia with North America. Energy flows move from the Middle East to importing regions around the world. Commodity routes connect Australia, Brazil, and Africa to industrial economies. This macro perspective reveals an important truth. The oceans are not empty expanses. They are highly organized transportation networks. Ships move the raw materials, fuels, and finished products that sustain modern civilization. Without maritime logistics, global commerce would not function. At any given moment, thousands of commercial vessels are moving simultaneously. Some are crossing oceans. Others are waiting at anchor, maneuvering in ports, or transient strategic channels. Together, they form a continuous and highly coordinated global system. ShipXplorer is particularly useful because it encourages us to think in terms of networks rather than individual ships. Each route represents a trade relationship. Each port reflects infrastructure investment. Each cluster of vessels reflects economic activity. Viewed from this perspective, vessel tracking becomes a powerful way to visualize globalization itself. 6. MarineTraffic Live. MarineTraffic Live offers another streamlined view of global vessel movements. Its interface is straightforward and highly accessible. At this stage, the most important conclusion is not which platform has the most features or the best design. The real takeaway is the extraordinary amount of maritime information that is publicly available. With these tools, anyone can monitor shipping routes, observe strategic choke points, and better understand the logistics that support modern life. These resources are valuable to enthusiasts, students, journalists, investors, and professional analysts. They provide direct visibility into the movement of goods, energy, and passengers around the world. Most of the products we depend on travel thousands of kilometers before reaching us. By tracking ships in near real time, we gain a much clearer understanding of that hidden journey. What initially appears to be a simple map of moving icons becomes a dynamic representation of commerce, infrastructure, and geopolitics. One of the most compelling aspects of ship tracking is accessibility. With nothing more than a web browser and publicly available data, it is possible to explore the operational backbone of the global economy. That accessibility makes maritime tracking both educational and genuinely fascinating. Once you understand what these maps represent, you begin to see the oceans not as empty spaces, but as living corridors of trade connecting nations, industries, and everyday life. And that is what makes maritime intelligence such a powerful lens through which to understand how the world truly works.